Hey everybody, welcome back to another Coach's Log. This is Coach Rob. I'm the owner and head coach at Pause Performance Coaching. And if you want to learn more about our services and our coaching practice, you can certainly visit pauseperformancecoaching.com. And I'll also leave a kind of a quick link at the end of the video of an introduction to Pause Performance Coaching. All right, today is going to be pretty simple and very straightforward. I was kind of on the fence of which topic to tackle. It is Zwift related. Zwift is the 900-pound gorilla right now in cycling and maybe even in some running circles with regards to the pandemic. This video is being recorded, smack in the middle of the summer here in the United States, and I'm still hearing from lots of athletes the general woes and complaints about the simple reality that is now the pandemic and what that means to group rides, group racing, mass start racing, that sort of thing. And it still comes back to, is it safe? And I think only history is going to tell us what that looks like. I'm not a medical professional. I am a coach, and sometimes that gets confused. So one of the things that has come up frequently since Zwift came online in 2015, and quite honestly, going all the way back to CompuTrainer days, is that these new smart trainers that are on the market today, and some of the past ones, have what is known as ERG Mode or ERG Mode. That is short for ergometer. And there's this, this misplaced belief in smart trainers that the only way to train is in ERG mode. That's not the case. ERG mode forces you to maintain a range of power or a selected power zone potentially, or an actual number, a target number that you're training towards. Regardless of what the duration of the interval is or the intensity of the interval is, ERG mode forces that on you. Think of it as like running on a treadmill and having that speed set and fixed, and there's no way to get out of that. Okay, it's already set up for you, and you're going to do exactly what that workout entails. That sounds kind of cool. Set it, forget it. You get to do exactly what I or another coach or a training plan that you have decided to work with tells you to do. Why is that a bad thing? Well, I think there are about 2 or 3 solid reasons why I'm not a fan of ERG mode, and then I'll talk about why I do like ERG mode and when I think it's applicable to use one or the other. So, ERG mode, one of the big reasons I'm not a fan, masters athletes often come to me with a host and raft of prior injuries, everything from knee injuries, shoulder injuries, you name it. And when you've been racing, running, and riding for a while, and if you're new to this, I'm sorry, injury is kind of part and parcel, what's going to happen in this lifestyle. And there's a lot to be learned from that. I don't think we need to be necessarily afraid of it. I don't think it's a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And it really does push your patience, of course. But the problem with that larger group of people that I coach in the master's ranks is that, especially with knees, IT band, hip flexor, hamstring, as well as issues around calves, shins, which is pretty rare for a cyclist, ankle issues, other foot issues, ERG mode is non-relenting. You could have very short, low-intensity intervals, but what does that net you? When you're doing this as an ERG ride, you are fixed. You're stuck in that zone. There's no variability. So if you have prior knee issues, there's no rest for the wicked. You're going to have to push through until that interval is done. Any of those other joint-related past injuries are going to plague you. Maybe not in the first couple of rides, maybe not even the first couple of months, but all of a sudden you're going to wake up one morning and go, whoa, I am super stiff and I'm having a hard time moving around. So I think that the other reason that I'm not a big fan of them, and this has come up more times than I care to comment on, forums, Reddit, Facebook, Twitter, Strava, is that here was a big complaint. I just spent all winter working on Zwift, Trainer Road, Sufferfest, Rouvy, and I went outside and I got my first ride in and I don't feel fast. What's going on? Well, Honestly, that could be an entire coach's log unto itself. But in this particular case, I'm not going to bore you with that. Instead, what I would say is this: did you spend the entire winter stuck in ERG mode? And if you did that, you didn't allow yourself for any variability, especially for those of you who are riding in things like the Grand Tour, RGT, and then Road Grand Tour, and then of course Zwift and Ruvi. You've got a wonderful opportunity for lots of varying terrain. Why are you always riding in ERG mode? So I would always say this is that one of my biggest complaints about these pre-built training plans that you can find on those platforms is that they're not giving you enough days where you're just riding free. You're not established and stuck at a training, zone and intervals. You need that to be able to adapt to that work. The other reason is pure boredom. I see probably a lot more burnout in athletes that are stuck in ERG mode too long than I do if I give them the same workout and tell them, I don't want you to do this in ERG mode. And yes, there's more variability in the power output that I see than if they're stuck in ERG mode, but I'm going to say that I find that that's a healthier way mentally to get through a training season or even preparation and during the race season. The other thing too that I would probably add to it is that there are strong reasons to use ERG mode. I do believe that there are times within a training program that it does make sense. So let's say, for instance, that you are trying to develop some mental toughness skills and you really need to produce some power at 5 minutes and you are having a hard time with this. So in that particular case, you're going to, be laid over aero bars, you're going to be on your hoods, your drops, what have you, and you're going to grind that out for 5 minutes. Same thing goes for triathletes and time trial specialists. Those 20, 30, 40-minute long interval sessions where you're doing 2x20, 3x20, 3x30, even 3x60 for the gravel grinders that I coach. Those folks are going to really need that time. But we don't do it all the time. There's a time and a place for it. So do yourself a huge favor and take a break from ERG mode every now and then. I think your body will thank you for it. And you may even find that some of those achy joints aren't feeling so bad anymore. All right, everybody. I'm not trying to slam any of those platforms. They are fantastic training tools. I just want to make sure that you're getting the best out of them. Have a great rest of your training week.